Right. Yeah. This is just a test. To talk about like judgmental people. Um, the fact that they're on whatever ideology. They will basically, because the stereotype is, well, don't hang around with them because they're ANCAPs, for example. Yes, there are some ANCAPs we wouldn't really hang around with too much. Should we avoid them? No. Um, there are some other fellow minarchists, which is what I fall into, which can be really stuck up and nasty. Should you really hang around with them? Well, it's entirely up to you, but if you want to change someone's mind, opinion of you, then you've got to at least talk to them, work it out, and show them what your political view is, and yeah, try and find an agreement somewhere. And the same with nationalists. You know, the typical point of a nationalist is that they're nasty, and not all are nasty. The majority of Marxists are, but the ones that don't broadcast videos and that and call themselves Marxists, well, I'd probably say most of them probably are. I will see if I can get someone in this chat to actually talk about it as well. But yeah, yeah. All right. Centre Right Federation. We're just talking here about judgmental people. How, from the outlook, how they can sometimes, because someone's one ideology, they can automatically assume that they're nasty, when in actual fact they're just misled. And sometimes you need to you need to sit them down and talk to them about the fact that the fact that they're wrong, and show them what the real path is.
Yeah, exactly. And plus, like, for example, like I remember once Vladivostok was once accused of Marxism because he was subscribed to Angry Bastards channel and Democratic Socialist 01's channel. But
Yeah.
the problem is though, is kind of like what Tom says. You know what Tom said?
What's
Tom
that?
says that like if you're only subscribed to people who you agree with and not with people who you don't agree with, like let's just say all you do is spend time with people who you agree with,
Yeah.
you'll spend all your life living in an echo chamber. Like you will end up living in some sort of like echo chamber where you just hear the same stuff being repeated over and over.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, this is why, I mean, this goes to people who are transitioning as well. Not all ANCAPs are the traditional type that want to
But they
abolish
do
the
make great
state.
allies.
Yeah, they can make great allies. I turn around and say the minarchists are the ones that build the capitalist states, and the anarchists are the ones that clear out the anarcho-capitalists, which are the real anarchists, are the ones that clear out the communist scum and replace it.
Exactly. And plus like it's also good to hear other people's opinions, like even though if you know that they are wrong, it's best to address why you think they are wrong.
Yeah, it's like one. You remember the argument with Luis and the fact that he didn't like Rocky Mystery.
Yeah,
Yeah, and the fact that there was a controversial video he didn't like. That I think you and another Brandon put up. Was it about Nietzsche?
yeah,
Um,
about the nihilist, the founder of nihilism, Friedrich Nietzsche.
yeah, and the fact that, of course, and the fact that that he asked you whether you can both delete videos and forget about it, but he has not turned around and said tried to amend the problem with Rocky Mystery. I mean, don't get me wrong, and I say this outright, and I don't mean to upset Luis, but it's being a little bit double standard because he hasn't allowed to, Rocky Mystery's side of the story. He's um, basically sort of like not really tried to amalgamate things and tried to sort the problem out. He just let it fester.
Yeah, exactly. It's
Yeah.
best if they both resolve the problems as well.
Yeah. I mean, there's there's no way, no reason to hide it. The fact that, Rocky Mystery must have been a collectivist at one point because of the comment he made ages ago about controlling the food supply, and that's not really a capitalist thing. But because he was new to the ideology that he was talking about, of course he's going to make mistakes.
Yeah, exactly. There are people who are like transitioning and stuff,
Yeah.
and like I also hate this thing where like they think that if you're friends with someone who whose ideology is different than you, like for example, like one time they were accusing Delta of being a libertarian just because he was friends with me, Luis, and stuff. But the thing is, he's not even a libertarian. He just doesn't. He's like a third positionist. But the thing is,
Mm.
the reason why we're friends with him is not because we agree with his politics. We're just friends with him because he's cool as a person. But that doesn't mean that we automatically agree with what with his views.
No, the only one which I'm a little bit questionable about is Manuel. But Manuel, you probably hang around with Manuel because he's a good person to talk to. But
Yeah, but I
again,
don't agree with it. I don't. He's like he's a communist, but the thing is, I don't agree with his views. I like him as like a person, but his views, I don't like. I'm not gonna say that I hate his views because I mean I support free speech and stuff like that,
mm,
and that means that you are also allowed to follow your own political views and opinions.
yeah,
But as a person, he seems like a nice guy. I mean, he's never attacked me personally or
no,
anything like that. He
I
just seems like
mean,
a nice guy.
yeah, not all. I actually stated not all socialism is evil. The ones that campaign for weekends off and certain days off, they were socialists, but the difference between the socialists that want to replace the state and them is that they believed in economic liberalism.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, like I've had debates with my friends who are anti-capitalist. I've had debates with them, but we just keep it civil so we could stay friends at the end.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, there's a few things like Brandon Townsend tonight. I mean, because a lot of them are all transitioning. I won't name names, but a number of them were joking about wars, and I actually stated that if you do go to war with a debt-ridden country and you don't win the war, you end up like the Weimar Republic, and we all know what happened with the Weimar Republic. It came crashing down.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's fine. It's good if you win, but then even if you win, you end up with debt ridden. I mean, the United States is an example, um, but that's not all down to the people involved. That's down to the central banks borrowing money to spend more on military spending.
exactly. And plus, I'm gonna say this right here, right now. So we're all of us. If you watch my videos, if you watch Center Right Shields videos, you guys will be aware of the fact that leftists are dogmatic people, right?
Hmm.
Everyone acknowledges that leftists are super dogmatic, but unfortunately, I'm trying to hope that that dogmatism is not reaching our side of the political spectrum, because we now have these people who think, oh, you're friends with him, therefore you're a socialist. It's like, no, dude, it doesn't prove anything. It's like saying that because somebody's parent is a socialist, that automatically means that their son is a socialist. No, because
Yeah.
you might have your own opinion different than theirs.
Well, I think most of the population could turn around and say that. I mean, I know someone, I mean, I haven't spoken to them in years. Their parents voted socialist, but he's been conservative for the past 15 to 20 odd years.
Yep, I know a kid whose parents are extremely left wing, but he's literally very right wing because
Mm,
he doesn't agree with his parents' views, and he also has friends that are also communists, but he doesn't agree with their views. Take Soldier 7 as a perfect example. Brandon Soldier
yeah,
7. He once had a friend. He had a friend from of 20 years who was an anarcho-communist, but is Soldier 7 an anarcho-communist just because he was friends with him?
no,
In fact, Brandon and him would always argue about politics and stuff. They'll just be like, oh. Brandon says that like he'll always invite him home and they'll always argue about something about that was
mm.
political related.
Well, I suppose in a way, somewhere along the line, Brandon's probably got some sort of English ancestry because us English or Brits are very good at arguing. But I imagine America's inherited that somewhere as well. Obviously,
Yep.
the Western world is very good at arguing. It's how we basically managed to turn a lot of the old Iron Curtain nations, namely the Czech Republic, more capitalist.
Yeah, and plus, I've also like since this video is also about judgmental people, I'll also like to say this like, so pretty much. Oh, I lost my train of thought for a second. Hold on, let me see if I can remember it. So as I was saying so you know how earlier I was talking about how friends, how just because you're friends with a socialist, that doesn't mean that you're a socialist or anything like that.
Yeah,
Yeah, so like, so like, if we were to follow that logic, the whole world would be socialist then.
exactly. This is basically to be judgmental like that. You're no different to angry bastards.
If you're judgmental by people's like people's political views or opinions, and you're just gonna disregard their views, and you're just not like gonna choose to not be their friends just because they said this or just because they said that, then you're just as bad as the left. You're just as bad as the left. You're just
Yeah,
as bad as them because they're exactly like that. They're dogmatic.
exactly. History's shown one thing that was it capitalists always win the argument, but do we have friends of other views? Of course we
Um,
do.
Hayek and Mises had friends who were socialist as well, and they were one of the biggest capitalists on earth.
Hmm. And of course Hayek and was it oh was it John Maynard Keynes were really good friends, like really like best friends in a way. Um, and they disagreed with each other constantly. I think I might be wrong. I think Hayek went to John Maynard Keynes' funeral.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. It's because you're not gonna live your life just thinking that, oh, he disagrees with me in this political view, so I'm not gonna so I'm just not I'm gonna disregard him. You're not gonna live your life like that, because if you do, you'll just end up alone, miserable, and you're like Tom says, you'll be in an echo chamber.
yeah, exactly. I
And plus,
mean,
you cannot
we've
judge.
all had the political journeys from the left, obviously, because of the education systems. Yeah, the education
Exactly.
system is so well, state education. What else can we say?
And plus, you can't prove that a person's a socialist just because of the channels they're subscribed to or anything. You also have to look at the type of videos that they've made. I
Yeah,
mean,
exactly.
if you see a video about him promoting the free market, then obviously that he's not a socialist. Obviously not.
Mm.
He just respects people's views.
Yeah, exactly. Um, exactly. If they randomly like use was it Bad Mouse Productions for an example, the fact that he posted a lot on like free market, and then suddenly he changed. That's giving into peer pressure. The people that follow the free market don't use peer pressure. We don't use force.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I'm gonna say this right now, and I hope I don't like. You know what? Fuck, I don't care if I offend any Ancoms. But the thing is, I'm just glad that I'm not like Bad Mouse Productions. Bad Mouse Productions caved into peer pressure.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
he wasn't strong enough to defend his position. I am way too strong, and I do a lot of research, and I
Hmm.
know how to defend my position 100%.
Yeah, what makes you laugh when they use sources? The first thing on their list, Wikipedia. As soon as we use Wikipedia, we're criticised and torn apart and all sorts. Um,
And like every time we use a source of theirs, they will call it capitalist propaganda. But
yeah,
if they send us a source from a propaganda ministry, we're supposed to believe that it's true.
exactly. It's a joke. The fact that half of them don't even have real sources when they say this, that, and the other. When you tell them facts, it's almost as if you're telling them a bedtime story.
Or not even. It's almost like you're reading them a horror book, and they're getting scared and crying because they can't handle the truth.
Hmm. This is what happens with the socialists that these former socialists leave behind. They cry because their friend has decided that he's had enough of all this socialist bullshit,
Yeah,
and
exactly.
he wants to.
Like Nero of Rome when he left the left, like he completely abandoned the left. He abandoned socialism. He got a lot of shit from leftists 24/7.
Mm,
But the thing is, remember when Bad Mouse Productions left libertarianism? Did any of us writers harass him for that? No.
no.
We respected his views, and if that's what he believes, then let him believe that it's his problem. It's not our
Mm.
problem.
I think secretly he's still got a lot of capitalist views. The fact that there was one video that turned around and he said that he hates political correctness.
Yeah,
One
exactly.
thing, one message I have to say to him, dude, you're basically supporting it.
And plus, like with Scott, remember when Scotty was having an exchange with him?
Yeah.
The way he told his story, like the way he described his story, like his situation when before he transitioned from being a good libertarian to derpcom, was that
Mm,
like if you were to listen to his story, it doesn't sound like he changed his mind out of the belief that that was the correct way of life. Rather, it just sounded like it didn't seem like he opened his eyes. Rather, it just seems like he just caved into his friends' bullying. Like he just caved into
mm,
peer pressure, trying to be
yeah.
cool, just trying to be popular. And instead of just being his own individual, he decided to follow the crowd.
Mm. I mean,
But
I won't name names, but our fellow people that we hang around in chats with know who we're talking about. A certain guy who seems to be a clone of posts on a social media page. We won't say the page, but he seems to. One of the things of being a capitalist, say with the Donald Trump situation. The fact that the individual, well, you know which individual I'm talking about.
yeah,
The
yep, I
fact,
know
the
who you're
fact,
talking about.
the fact, fact that he posts such like negative things. That's not a capitalist way. Yes, we may not agree completely with Donald Trump on all his policies, but at the same time, he's he's a bloody choir boy compared to bloody Bernie Sanders or Jeremy Corbyn.
Exactly. Donald Trump will do a lot better. And plus, like, kind of like what Tom says, you know how most of our presidents have been lawyers?
Yeah,
Uh, Like, like what does a lawyer do? All they do is get paid to say their case, to state their case, and that's it. We need,
mm,
so, like, you know how America is right now? We're up to our asses in debt.
yeah,
What we need is a businessman. And who's a
Mm.
businessman? Trump. We need a businessman.
Oh, was it the UK's had a few lawyers? Bloody Tony Blair was a former fucking lawyer, barrister prick, and he created all the debt and then ran away and gave it to loony British Dixon Brown.
Damn.
Yeah, and we're still paying for the national debt now. The
To
fact,
be
the
honest, I
fact
feel
that
like history's repeating itself.
yeah, the fact that all the good people, I mean, this current election, if you went by age, Austin Peterson should be the next like president. You know, if you wanted the youngest president, but the problem with Austin Peterson, as much as we like him,
Exactly.
the system is so biased towards a third party that it makes it nearly virtually impossible for a third party to be elected. I mean, the same problem is in Britain as in America, as in Canada. I mean, Canada is slightly different because they're three-party system, but that's it.
Yeah, exactly.
And you could say Britain is a three-party system, but the Liberal Democrats are the clowns of the British establishment. Vote them in. I'll disappear out of the country like a shot. Really
You know the Prime Minister
disarm.
of Canada, Justin Trudeau?
Yeah.
We've had moronic leftists trying to say that he was right wing, even though he's a liberal Democrat who wants to open up the borders of Canada to refugees. How is that? How in the world is that right wing?
It's not right wing at all. It's basically what David Cameron did at the start of this year and what Tony Blair did in 1997. And we're still bloody paying for it as well. And one of the things which, I mean, I don't honestly care whether people get funny with me at all, but if you look up the definition of refugee and the definition of asylum seeker, and what a real asylum seeker is what um, is someone that seeks asylum in the first land they land in, not 5 or 6 countries down the road, the first country they land in.
Yeah, to be honest, I feel like the refugee crisis should be handled by the other Arabs in the Middle East
Yeah, they need to
instead of
open their
Europe.
borders.
Yep, it's time for them to open up their borders because I mean they all have the same values when it comes down to it. Like when it regards religion, when it regards how they want the laws to work, they all have the same values. But the problem is when these refugees come from a come with a theocratic perspective and go into a secular nation, you know that's definitely poison to the nation.
Yeah, the only European, well, can we really call Turkey European nation?
I wouldn't really consider it, to be honest.
No. I would probably say they're closest to like a third position nation, really, aren't they?
Yeah, yeah, they're closer to the Middle East than they are to Europe.
I mean, politically, they're more like third position, aren't they?
Yeah, like
Um,
I'm not really sure how they're. I've heard Turkey is actually more secular than any other nation in the Middle East. But like, but I think that that every Middle Eastern country should be taking in these refugees, not the Europeans or
well,
like the Germans.
Oman should, Saudi Arabia should definitely.
Yep, Saudi
Um,
Arabia and Iran, all those places should take them
yeah,
in.
even Iraq. I mean, of course, Iraq is having problems of their terrorist groups as well. And I know Syria is being bombed at the moment, but there have got to be some
They could
safe
go to
areas.
they could go to what's it called again? To Southeast Asia where they could go to what's the name of that place? Crap, I forgot the name of that
Um,
place in Southeast Asia.
was it Malaysia or Indonesia?
They could go to one of those places, or I forgot, or Dubai.
Yeah, Dubai.
They're rich as hell. They're having a good economy. They could afford to get these refugees in.
Yeah. And the United Arab Emirates as well.
Yeah, exactly.
And was it Bahrain as well? They're another Arab nation.
No, I'm not gonna agree with like, but it's kind of true what this white nationalist said. Like, I'm not a white nationalist, you know that for
No,
sure.
yeah, I know for sure.
So like, kind of like what he said is kind of true. Like when it regards these refugees, he says that you cannot expect everybody to just get in a big circle holding hands and just sing kumbaya if they all have complete differences. Like let's say one person might come with a mentality of having Sharia law, and then the other person might believe in the separation of church and state. You can't have them like holding hands together and sing kumbaya.
It's a cultural difference. This is why, like you, I believe in the melting pot. But I believe in multiculturalism?
Hell nah. We believe in the melting
Nah,
pot. The melting pot
the
is
melting
better.
pot. And before they turn around and say something, I have immigrant history. The fact that one of my ancestors was sent to America and came back. You know that, mate. I've told you many times.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
I have Nazi friends. I have friends who are Nazis, and I'm gonna say this to them. Sorry, guys, I'm not going anywhere, whether you guys like it or not, because America's a country of immigrants. So like me leaving is just gonna be stupid. I was
Well,
born here and I like it
England,
here.
yeah,
So fuck you guys. Go
England's
offense.
a country. England's a country of immigrants as well. The fact that if you look even in the Dark Ages, like the fourth century, and that, you know, what do they call the arrival of the Anglo Saxons? Scots fucking mist.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, it's been happening since like the early centuries, for fuck's sake. Even the Celts were invaders. Anyway, I think we better finish this podcast here. I think we've been rabbiting on, and but yeah, this is definitely a video that needs to be made
Yeah,
because
because we
too
want to
many
put an
people.
end to all the dogmatism within our group.
Mm, yeah, if groups are gonna last, they really do need to address these issues.
Yeah.
You know, we're not like lefties. We don't. The difference between anarchists and lefties is very, very slim.
Yep. And because we're on the right, we don't care if you disagree with us. We don't care if you're a Nazi. We don't care if you're a communist. We don't care what ideology you are. If you respect our views, we'll respect yours as long as you respect us.
Mm. And that goes for any of these crazy pricks, like the ones that turn around and like said you're all morons, and then doesn't like it when you retaliate with a post taking the piss out of
Exactly.
them. Tough shit. It's meant to be fucking freedom of speech.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Because as classical liberals, we believe in like in defending the First Amendment of the Constitution. You know, freedom of speech to the
Mm.
death. I don't like what you say, but I'll defend your right to the death to say it. But
Yeah.
progressives, progressive idiots, like, or I'm just gonna call them regressive morons,
Mm.
regressive, stupid leftists. They like tend to shut anybody down if you disagree with them, or they'll like call you all this stuff or bully you
Mm.
and harass you. They're like,
Was it
fuck you.
the grandmother document to the First Amendment? Of course, is the Magna Carta, isn't it?
Yep.
Which is being ignored in England just as much as the First Amendment is being ignored in the United States. And these documents need to be reintroduced and pushed in. You know, like Britain needs to follow the Magna Carta more closely. The United States needs to follow the Constitution more closely. But then
Yeah, exactly.
I would like the Magna Carta to be changed. I won't go completely in there because I know all my subscriber base doesn't follow my complete beliefs, which they're entitled not to. Like I'm entitled not to completely agree with their beliefs.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, everybody's gonna have a disagreement somewhere. Not everybody's gonna agree with each other like 100% on everything. Everybody's gonna have their disagreements somewhere.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
You
the
can't
fact
live your life with
we allow people to up and leave our ideology for a short time and look at themselves internally, and they're always welcome back.
Oh, and by the way, I'm just gonna brag about something here. Like you know you've seen those Socialist Saturdays podcasts, right? They're stupid as hell.
Mm.
Yeah, our like they're so dogmatic that they're only around people that they agree with. But the thing is, look at our Friday night shit posting on Vladivostok 3701's channel, on Tom's channel. You could probably link it below the description. Our live streams are diverse. We have all ideologies. We have libertarians, we have nationalists, we have socialists, we have every single ideology you can name in our live stream. We even have non-ideologicals.
Just
Because
like plain citizens, you mean, really?
yep,
Just like citizens.
because
They
we're not
look like
dogmatic.
they've actually gone into a web cafe somewhere and just started it up there.
Yep.
The other one.
Ours is more diverse in ideology, but you want to know why I like to brag about that to the leftists? Because it proves that we're not as dogmatic as they are.
Exactly.
It proves that we're a lot better, we're more tolerant towards people's opinions, and that we actually accept people not by what their views are, but rather how they treat you. Because I'm not gonna be an asshole to this guy just because he disagrees with me on this thing. I mean, I have to see why he thinks that way.
Exactly. The fact, like, I might have some views on other members of our groups and that, but I'd much rather get it out in the open and actually tell the person and have it
Exactly.
like the fact that we're much open with each other in our groups than
Like
how the lefties are.
I remember this stupid leftist once tried to accuse my friend Tyler of being a white supremacist. But the thing is, because he was singing that song by that group called White Power, but that's so stupid because Tyler is not a white supremacist. Tyler support is like a strong. He's against white supremacy. He literally is. He supports limited immigration. He supports all that stuff. But it's
Well,
like
to be honest, he's basically Brandon or Soldier of Seven's view, closing on our view, pretty much.
Yeah, exactly. But that doesn't mean that Tyler's a white supremacist just because he's singing the song "White Power." You can't judge a person just by the music that he likes or his political views or anything like that. You have to judge them by how they behave. How they behave.
Yeah.
That's how you have to judge them.
Like the weirdo we were talking about before, that leaving those comments on social media. You have to watch their postings to actually judge them completely.
Yeah, exactly. We won't say his name because it won't be necessary. But what we will say is that there are times where this individual at times makes it seem it's hard for us to determine what his ideology is just by his post.
But we do know that if we criticize one religion, I mean, part of being freedom is that you can criticize whatever religion you like without being shot down. But this person doesn't seem to understand.
Yeah, exactly. It's your opinion.
Exactly. Like I was questioning him about Rand Paul and he got his back up, and he was getting really like saying he didn't call Rand Paul a neocon when I know for a fact he did. But now he seems to love Rand Paul and his post and his videos and everything. I mean, it's fair enough if he's changed his view, but I doubt it.
Yeah, and like a lot of communists were also talking about how our Friday night shitposting has a lack of Marxists. We invited angry bastards to one of our shitpostings, but the thing is, the reason why we haven't invited most other Marxists is because every time we leave them the link to join, they're just too pussy to join because they're too politically correct that any little joke you make, it doesn't matter what joke you make, a racist joke or any joke, even if you don't mean it, it's just a joke.
Exactly.
They'll still get offended.
Yeah, it's well, they're all a joke on the other side. The whole fucking
The entire left is just a fucking joke.
Yeah, and they always the ones that make me laugh are the ones that say they believe in they believe in our beliefs, but then they turn around and they'll defend something that's an oligarchy.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway, I think we've been talking for a while now. I think we need to end it here. This is Centre Right Shield and Centre Right Federation signing off.
Yep. See you guys.
So yeah, and remember, your girlfriend loves my capitalist bacon more than your communist bacon.
Yep.